Okay, if you run a small business, you're going to want to stick around for this. We're about to cut through all the technical jargon and give you a straight up, no nonsense survival guide for cybersecurity. This is important. So let me ask you something right out of the gate. Do you ever think, my business, we're too small. Why would a hacker ever care about us? It's a really common way of thinking, but honestly, it's probably the single most dangerous assumption you can make. Because here's the reality, 73%. That is the number of small businesses that got hit with a cyber attack just last year. Think about that. If you're in a room with two other small business owners, odds are 2 out of the 3 of you were targeted. This isn't some far-off threat. It's happening right here, right now. So why? Why are small businesses getting hit so hard? Well, that brings us to our first section, why you are the unexpected and honestly, the preferred target. This quote right here, it just nails it. See, cybercriminals are not always looking for the biggest fish in the sea. A lot of the time, they're just looking for the easiest catch. They know that small and medium-sized businesses have incredibly valuable stuff, customer lists, bank info, you name it, but often without the big security budgets and IT teams that giant corporations have. So you're not too small to be a target. In fact, your size is exactly what makes you so attractive to them. And when they do get in, well, the fallout can be absolutely catastrophic. Let's really dig into what the real cost of an attack actually looks like for a business like yours. Get ready for this number. $4.88 million. That's the average cost of a data breach for a small business. I mean, let's be real. For most of us, that's not just a bad year. That is a company killer. That's lights out. So you might be wondering, where does a number that huge even come from? Well, a big piece of it is, of course, the immediate damage and the business you just can't do while you're trying to fix things. But then there are all the other costs that pile up. You've got lawyers' fees, regulatory fines, angry customers leaving, and the long-term hit to your reputation. It all adds up terrifyingly fast. And it's not just about the money, it's about time. 279 days. That is the average time it takes a business to fully identify and contain a breach. Almost a full year. Just ask yourself, could your business survive being in crisis mode for 9 months straight? Okay, so that's the scary part. That's the reality. Now let's pivot and talk about how to fight back. And the very first step is to know your enemy, to understand the main ways these guys try to get in the door. Now, what's so fascinating when you look at this chart is that the biggest threats, phishing, bad passwords, even threats from inside your own company, they all hinge on one thing: human error. And you know what? That's both the biggest challenge and your biggest opportunity. Let's just zero in on the number one threat for a second: phishing. All it is at the end of the day is a digital con game. It's a scammer sending an email that looks like it's from your bank or from a supplier or even from the CEO, trying to trick someone on your team into clicking a bad link or giving away their password. And please do not underestimate how well this works. This stat is just mind-blowing. Almost 80% of all security breaches last year started with a simple phishing email. That one fact tells you that just training your people how to spot these fakes is one of the most powerful things you can possibly do. So let's get practical. How do we actually start building up our defenses? The goal here isn't to become some impenetrable Fort Knox. The goal is just to be a tougher target than the guy down the street. You don't have to do everything all at once. Seriously, just start with these 3 things. Think of this as the digital equivalent of locking your doors and putting a bar on the windows. Number 1, train your people. Number 2, turn on multi-factor authentication. You know, that little code you get on your phone? It's a game changer. And number 3, just keep your software updated. It's that simple. And once you've got those basics down, you can start adding a few more simple layers. Make sure everyone uses strong passwords. A password manager makes this super easy. Use secure Wi-Fi, not the free stuff at the coffee shop. And please, 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 back up your important data regularly. Because if you get hit with ransomware, having a clean backup is literally your get-out-of-jail-free card. Now, when you're ready to get a little more serious and mature your strategy, there's actually a fantastic resource out there. This is the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. Don't let the official-looking name scare you. It's basically a free roadmap from the US government that helps you organize your efforts. It's an amazing guide for taking that next step. But here's the thing. Even with the best defenses in the world, you have to plan for failure.
You have to be ready for the day an attack actually works, because how you respond in those first few hours is just as critical as all the prevention work you did.
And that is where your incident response plan comes in. Trust me, the absolute worst time to figure out what to do is when your hair is on fire and the building is burning down. This plan is your playbook, written ahead of time, so that when something bad happens, your team can act with purpose instead of panic.
And look, it doesn't have to be some 100-page manual. It just needs to answer the really critical questions. Who's in charge when this happens? Who do we call? Our lawyer? Our insurance company? What are we legally required to do? And what are the very first technical steps we take to stop the bleed?
And that really brings us to what might be the single most important idea of this whole thing. The goal of cybersecurity isn't to be perfect. It's not about building an impenetrable fortress, because that's impossible. The goal is to be resilient, to be able to take a punch, get back up, and get back to business as fast as possible. Because if you're not resilient, the consequences are just brutal. 60%, more than half of all small businesses that get hacked, are forced to close their doors for good within 6 months. This isn't just some IT issue. This is a survival issue. So, I'll leave you with this one final thought. You've seen the risks, you know the costs, and now you know the first simple steps you can take to protect yourself. The only question left is your business prepared to be one of the ones that makes it?